And you want the whole world to laugh at you at the right. When you're buying Bitcoin, everyone should think you're nuts. People should say you're buying a dead asset. You have no idea what you're doing. You're a fool. And you know what? You do whatever makes you happy. But I remember the days buying Bitcoin at 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 when people were laughing at me, calling me a fool. And lo and behold, they eventually came for tutoring. The same people that thought I was crazy would ask me for advice and be like, wow, this is amazing. Super important. We're looking at multiple indexes throughout the world, right? And look at this. Could we make this? Are we going to make a possible inverted head and shoulder? Could we bounce from this area back to the upside? There's a chance for the Dow Jones, right? We did make some really strong divergence right now for the Dow. Let me show you. And when you make divergence on the Dow, it's a pretty big deal. You know, crypto is like all day, 24/7, the battles, but the divergence on the Dow is pretty strong. That's bullish divergence in the Dow Jones. We could get a bounce back to the upside here. This could just be a fake rally, you know, trying to fake people out, scare people out, get them really freaked out, get them to sell all their assets off so the big boys can step in and just continue to grind, you know. I'll show you a couple things about the Dow that we're looking at closely here on the channel. First thing we got to do is take this impulse to the top, right? Alt F is going to be your Fibonacci. And like we bounced here. And like actually I would take it from here too. This little impulse. And so we retrace to the 786 in the golden pocket. That's the golden pocket right there. Beautifully on that retracement. So we could even come all the way down to the 0.5 and still be kind of safe at 31.76. 31.716. But we are running out of, you know, last hope. We are running out of hopium. You know what I mean? For the Dow Jones. And we could be double topping too. Come up here, we'll make a double top for the Dow. I mean, Dow has just been, they printed so much money. And now what happens is the more money you print, the more money you have to print. It's similar to, I don't know, like the solar ice caps. It's like an exponential issue. You know what I mean? As we look at Bookmap and we can see more liquidations down here. But we're getting a little lighter in the zone. And we're starting to kind of balance out at 19,800. Seems to be. That was our last place. Remember, the 800s are strong support for whatever reasons. You have your 1,000s, your 500 areas, and your 800 areas. I've seen it many, many times in my life as big areas of support and resistance, right? All right, let's zoom back in here and show you what I see happening. All right. Get rid of that. It was a crazy projection, too, for the most part. But right now, we're oversold on the daily time frame. You know, you're expecting a bit of a bounce here. And so you're going to look at your support and resistance areas. And look, previous resistance, getting a bounce. So you're expecting a bounce for the Dow Jones. For sure, on the daily time frame. So we're getting milled. Like, this is bad news. But you could get a bounce here. And the thing, like I said before, we do not want to break back inside of this pattern. Bad news, when you have a falling wedge and you break out of it, you do not want to end up down in here. So we're going to be watching the Dow, but if we end up in here, that's going to be troublesome because then this top trend line is going to be an issue. So it's a really strong area of support and resistance. We want to see if it can hold here for the Dow Jones. We're ahead. The Dow Jones seems to be ahead of Bitcoin and the S&P. It kind of took its leap first. It dumped first. Then the Bitcoin, you know, is the Dow Jones front running the S&P and Bitcoin? There's a bit of a chance here, and I don't see many people talk about it. All right. So look, here's our dollar index that we go over every day, and all the time, right? So here. So I had my green zone, and we went over it, and I said we can't break above this green zone. We cannot. So interesting. We got a major dump here, right? But we didn't get a major pump in the dollar index. You know, we got a bit of we got a bit of a candle, but not a major. You know, we got a bit of a candle, but it wasn't like it was like a slaughter fest. You know what I mean? It did pump though. Of course, it's going to pump when Bitcoin dumps. The idea is, can we stay below my green area? Can we stay below this area here, 109.33? So we are expecting a bounce on the 4-hour. It's showing you that it wants to bounce back to the upside. It's very oversold. What we want is just some sideways behavior. We want to make this a Bart Simpson. This is a top. This is a top. We want this to double top, and we want these two to double top. So far, it's not the worst thing in the world, and the daily is getting overbought. So honestly, it's showing like this may be some really good signs to buy up some BTC, in my humble opinion. So I'm personally going to buy up some more Bitcoin today. It's going to be a good idea. I'll show my buy to the group, exactly what I buy on Discord. I'll keep it to my Discord group, but I'll show them exactly how much Bitcoin I buy. And you know what? I just keep stacking BTC. If we go to 9,000, 10,000, I only lose 50% of whatever I buy right now. And I'm only buying $500 to $1,500 chunks at this point. I look at my fear and greed index and I buy Bitcoin depending on that. So like right now, the fear and greed index, I want to take a look at it. I want to see it below 20. I want to see it in the teens. That's when I really open up. And then when I see it, if I ever get it to 12, below 12 is when I take the $500 buys and they go to 1,000. My $1,500 buys go to 3,000. I go to 8, 6, 7, and 8 on the fear and greed index. And that's when those $500 buys turn into 1,500. And that's when the $1,500 buys turn into 4,500. So I have a whole idea of how I use my money in allocation. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. You do whatever makes you happy. But I allocate into Bitcoin depending on how this fear and greed index works. People should say you're buying a dead asset. You have no idea what you're doing. You're a fool. And you know what? You do whatever makes you happy. But I remember the days buying Bitcoin at 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 when people were laughing at me, calling me a fool. And lo and behold, they eventually came for tutoring. The same people that thought I was crazy would ask me for advice and be like, wow, this is amazing. That's humbling, getting made fun of by people that eventually ask you for advice and then not turning those people away, being like, you know what? I know you made fun of me, but you didn't understand. You know what I mean? And that's the true test of like who you are. Like, are you going to be like, oh no, I'm better than you. I knew it. Now get away from me. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Now you want to do that. I'll be honest. You feel that way at times. I'll be honest. And alone in a room, I was like, oh yeah, you people, I'll show you. I'm never going to tell you what, you know. But then I sat there and I was like, you know what? Is that who I want to be? Do I want to let that same fear that they had control me? And I say, no, not going to happen. So that's kind of why we do what we do here on the channel every single day.